Hi, my name is Arishka. I'm an international student studying at Parsons School of Design in New York. I'm in my second year and I'm here to talk about my experience as an international student studying in one of the biggest cities in the world, New York. Let's get into it. I often get the question of what my experience has been like for these last 2 years, and honestly, I can say it's been really amazing. I'm in integrated design, and so it's a mix of various different design concepts and making, which has been amazing because I get to explore and use all these amazing labs that school provides, from like metalworking to wood to CNC laser cutters, and everything else that you can like use to create something you want to create. Um, from going from like really like intimidating looking machinery to be able to learn and use them is something that I've felt like super empowered with, and I think that that's something that I'm really grateful for in the learning experience that I've had so far here. Um, One of the great experiences is also the fact that the city is our campus. I know that was really intimidating of an idea when we were looking at colleges to apply to. But honestly, I think that's something that really made sense because as designers, I feel like it's so important to understand the environment around us, or just any field really. If you're looking at going into the sciences or going into the social sciences, it's really interesting and important to understand how the environment around us works and how different people and cultures work. And New York is so multicultural that you really do learn a lot just by stepping out the door, um, and seeing what takes place around you. And this is really helpful as a designer because often you'd like walk down the street and you'd be looking for things and looking for problems, and you'd be able to see them and experience them firsthand and see where you can implement design elements too, or like make changes. Also, being an international student, this is really handy because a lot of times it's interesting to look at the problems we're trying to solve in and see if my culture or someone else's culture has already like tackled them, and see how that can be implemented here, or like take solutions that have been implemented here and see how those can help back home. And this exchange of like ideas and sharing of cultures is something that I really appreciate, and I think it's something that's very valuable. That our school is very international, so a lot of time in the classroom we have so many different like aspects and ideas and like information. Our social circles are very integrated with various different people from around the world. And I honestly think that this is one of the beautiful things about being an international student, because the idea of going international was to be able to learn about how the world works and see how people around the world work, and have like a more overall learning in the 4 years of college that I had. And so far, I've really been experiencing that, and I'm really grateful for. Our exams are really portfolios and projects. We are given certain like prompts, and we have to design for those and come up with concepts and prototypes, or even your final piece, honestly. I think there's a huge focus on design thinking, really, more than just like the final product. And this is something really beautiful because um, you're kind of encouraged to show how your brain is functioning to come up with these ideas, rather than just having a final piece that looks pretty, because they really want to know why you made something, what you made it for, what were the workings, what were the challenges, what was going on behind the what really caused this idea to happen, what was happening in the environment around you, your experiences that like encouraged this. And I think that it's really more about like the way you think and structuring that way to be in a design manner so that it can be applied to any aspect of your life, really. And so, yeah, I think that's the main way that we are taught. Um, it's helpful because, of course, things can be really expensive. And I think that's one of my biggest challenges that have been here is that because I'm in art school, I do have to spend on material, but like material can be very expensive. And so a lot of times it can be frustrating if you can't like implement a complete idea that you have. But I guess there's also a beauty in that because then you have to come up with a really solid like concept, which then can be applied and done by you whenever you want, because there's such a solid framework there that you've built rather than just the piece. And so this really does flow into your portfolio as well when you submit it. So if you really are thinking of going to design school, I think the portfolio is one of the really biggest things, and that's what got us into college too. Parsons or any design school requires you to submit a portfolio. And I really encourage the idea of like putting things that you're very passionate about, and also things that have like failed in the past, or show the workings behind everything that you are submitting, either in writing or images. But there's definitely should be some kind of process that's shown. Again, because people who are like the admissions office of any college that's looking for artists and designers are looking at how your brain is functioning and the way that you think. I did get into Parsons with a merit scholarship, which I'm very grateful for. And this was also kind of based on the portfolio that we submitted. And I think a lot of times for these scholarships, I think is the idea that you have something that you can take forward in college, like ideas that can be further developed with the resources that are provided by the college, like the labs and the professors. And so that's really what I think gets you into those places of being able to get a scholarship or being able to be admitted into these schools. So yeah, I really highly encourage you putting in things that you're really passionate about, because if you're passionate about something, it will grow and bloom into something bigger and beautiful, rather than putting things that you think that the admissions office wants you to like show. It is definitely hard to get the idea of converting the dollar and the rupee. That's something that I definitely do still. But I've gotten better at not doing it for things that are really important. For example, toilet paper or like dish soap, or things that you really do need to use on a daily basis. And so you're going to have to budget to keep that money aside because you need to buy them, and there's no point in skimping on it. But then yes, there's certain things that I would compare the dollar and the rupee and be like, is that worth it, or can I get a better deal back home? For example, like sometimes art material can be iffy, or like clothes. I mean, just basic things, like, you know, it is definitely expensive city, and so it is good to have an idea of budgeting. There's a lot of like ways to go about being a little more sustainable when it comes to your budget. There's a lot of dollar stores that help you out when it comes to like basic requirements, so then you can buy a lot of things there that are a lot cheaper. There's a lot of apps that get you like discounts on food and stuff, so like you can still like eat outside food if you're feeling like it, but it's not like spending a lot of money. So yeah, I think that's just something to also consider. But it's something that's very like manageable. Another like challenge I definitely think is like being homesick. Nothing compares to being at home and having your parents and your pets and your like comfort zone and everything. But thankfully, we're living in an era where we have a phone and that we can stay connected. And I think that that's really helped me out, at least. Just being able to be in contact with my parents whenever I need to be or whenever I want to be. We call like almost every weekend. We're always texting. And in a way, it gives you a lot more of like this excitement, because suddenly you're not around your parents or your friends anymore, so there's always like something new to listen to, like a story, whereas like when you're with them you experience it along, and of course that's amazing too. But there's like a lot to look forward when you like call someone and like learn about their day and the things that are happening in their life as well, and like to be able to exchange that, because now you're also sharing stories that you're experiencing without them. So there's like this like cross that happens, which is really beautiful. It's like a bittersweet feeling for sure. um, Going international and studying abroad is a beautiful experience in itself. I think more than just education, it comes with its own education of the world, and how there's so much to learn from other people as well, and not just like a textbook or like a bunch of like terms and like essays that you're going to write, but more that there is a lot of learning and just how you as a person are growing and like learning more about yourself. I've learned so much about myself in just the 2 years that I've been here, and like I know I'm going to keep doing that, and that's something that happens on its own anyways. I think it just like flourishes in a different perspective when you go abroad as well. um, but yeah, I think that no system is a perfect system. There's always a flaw in every college. There's always a flaw in every system. There's always a flaw in something. But it's really what like positive things that you can like extract from it and make the most of with your ideas and your will to learn. And you'll always make the most of it, I think. And that's what's really important, whether it's abroad, whether it's a home, whether it's somewhere else that you decide to. I think that that's really the main thing to focus on. And so, yeah, I'm excited for you guys, and I wish you good luck. And yeah, thank you so much.